So welcome everyone. Today we're here to learn and talk about kind of the social media one-on-one. It is designed to be a fairly introductory session. It is designed to be for the beginners, kind of to give you overview of how social media marketing works and what it does and how you can use it for your organization. As I'm not sure if you know me or if you know who I am, I'm Lenka, social media consultant. I've been running trainings for my clients, for my community, as well for Cambridge Online and Cambridge CBS for the past couple of years, and kind of organic social media marketing, meaning social media that is done focusing on content, on engagement, and on being present on the platforms for free. It's my core. I don't specialize in paid advertising. Obviously, it is very important and it is good to do that as well. But what we will talk today is more of the organic. A couple of housekeeping. As I said, this session is being recorded. I'm just double checking that it actually is still recording, that everything works. Pause recording, which means we're running recording, which is awesome. You'll get the slides and further resources afterwards, but feel free to take screenshots and share them on social media. Use the hashtag CampsDGWeek, and you can tag me at Lenka Kopp. And if you have any questions or anything, type them into the chat and I'll answer them at the end of the session, because as I said, hard to keep an eye on everything as we go. So let's get going. I wanted to start with a little bit of kind of this year update, because as we all know, this year has been a very unusual year and there has been a lot happening in the world of social media, and some very interesting stats just to keep in mind why we should really focus and understand how social media marketing works in today's day and age. This year, general social media engagement rates, like meaning people engaging by liking, commenting, sharing, sending DMs, it is up 61%. WhatsApp usage, even WhatsApp is considered as a social media channel as well, it's up 40%. More groups, more video chats, more conversations. Overall, social media content consumption is up 66%. So people read more, people watch more videos, people spend more time on social media. Twitter users have grown 23% and other networks have grown as well. LinkedIn engagement is up 24%. Facebook usage is up 37%. Pinterest engagement is crazy, 75%. People spending more time at home. Apparently they're looking more for their home decorations and inspiration for how to make their houses and places more comfortable and suitable for them. Instagram usage is up, especially in the younger demographic. And TikTok is obviously growing even through the India ban and US issues, potential ban. It's still growing. Even in the UK, TikTok is becoming very popular and the user base is increasing only this year by 34%. Snapchat, not potentially the most relevant platform for UK audience, but if your audience is global and US, then still good to know that Snapchat is still here. Snapchat still works and exists, and it still is growing by 20% this year. And obviously all the platforms are working really hard on launching new features and updates and making sure that they are enabling businesses and communities to really be effective, be efficient, and be able to continue provide products and services and support that they do in today's situation. Overall, couple trends that have been relevant even before the crisis and the pandemic has started, and definitely more important than ever since then, it is video. Come on, like we have to do video. We even do this training as a video, even though usually we would do it in person. There is more emphasis put on social wellness, meaning people taking time away from the screen and being more conscious about their social media usage or technology usage. So even though the engagement and all the statistics we looked at are up, there is still important to remember that quality over quantity. People are spending more valuable, meaningful time on social media, and they're more aware of the potential negative impact of digital and social media and technology. Niche platforms are more and more popular. That's where we see that TikTok is becoming more popular. There's more individual platforms that are industry specific. And obviously what is key is personalized communication, making it more about direct messages, making it more about individual one-to-one, offering high quality, offering personalized customer service. So usually I would have this as a question to the audience, and you can still let me know in the comments, what in your experience, what in your perspective is social media or social media marketing? Usually, I will get answers that range from it is a place to connect with your friends and family, it is a place to get updates about what's going on in the world, and it is a place to advertise and promote. And in that sense, everyone is correct, because social media, it's about content, about providing valuable content and reading interesting content. It is about building a community and interacting with each other. It is about enabling us to collaborate and build networks and work on new projects together. But it is also a place for advertising, establishing thought leadership, your expertise, and your influence. So how do you in your organization achieve social media marketing success? Well, it always starts with a plan. I know it might be boring, but let me tell you, if you have a plan, if you understand what you do, why you do it, and how you will do it, it will allow you to have more fun with it, to be more creative, and really enjoy doing it. If you don't have a plan, social media can be very overwhelming, and it can feel like you don't know where to start, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what it's doing for you, you don't understand the results. So don't take having a plan as being too restrictive. I want people to know that having a plan means that you have certain borders and guidelines and understanding, and then you can have fun with it. And today I want to share with you my social media strategy in 5 steps. You can find lots of templates on the internet, but over the years I found that there are only 5 fairly simple questions that you need to know the answers to be able to put together your social media strategy. First one, it's why. What's your why? What's your business about? You need to understand what your brand is, what your values are, what your culture is, to be able to really create and present yourself in a consistent, eye-catching, interesting, and rememberable way. You can see that my slides are designed in a specific way. There are specific colors, there are specific fonts, and they're their specific tone. I'm even wearing specific colors, and I will be talking in a certain way. And no matter where you will go on social media and online and even in person, when you meet me, you will see that my why is helping people to really be brave and kind of badass with their social media, no matter how big or small their goals are. So every organization usually understands their why, and you need to know how to translate it onto social media. The second, and probably the most important part of your strategy, are who your target customers are. Who is your audience? What are the people you're trying to reach? In your cases, it might be people you're trying to help. It might be that you need more volunteers. It might be that you're trying to get more people to help you with fundraising and get you some funds. You might just want to get more brand awareness for your organization. There are lots of goals, and you might have 3 to 5 different audiences. And it is important to know who your audiences are, who your clients are, who are the people that you're trying to reach on social media. That will then inform where, on which platforms you will find them, and where your organization should spend the most of your time. That will also influence what content, what posts, what visuals, what images, what videos, if it's a podcast, if it's a YouTube series, whatever it is, that you will be producing, creating for your audience. And then obviously you need to understand your goals. What is it that you're trying to achieve? Are you trying to reach here or here or here? And based on your goals, then you will create your action plan where you can break down what needs to happen on daily, weekly, monthly basis to achieve your goals. So as I said, from my experience, the two most important parts of your social media audience strategy will be your audience and your goals. If you know who your ideal clients are, it will inform your decision on your platforms, channels, the individual marketing tactics. It will also inform the content, making sure that you're using consistent tone of voice. It will help you create digital marketing funnel. It will inform your offerings and sales. And it's important to remember that no matter how much we will today talk about you and your goals and how you will do social media and what you can achieve, when it comes to actually doing social media, the important thing to remember is that it is not about you. It's not about what you want to say. It is not what you want to sell. It is not about what you want to come across as and share. It is about them. It is about people that you are serving. It is about people you're trying to reach. It is about the people you're trying to build relationships, connect with. So always when you're thinking about what are we going to post, think about them. Is this something that will be interesting, will be helpful, will be relevant, it will be insightful, they will want to engage with it? Always remember, it's not about you, it is about them. Then the second most important thing, as I said, are your goals, and they will inform your decisions on the frequency and intensity of your campaign. Will you post once a week, twice a week, once a day, twice a day? How much and how often to create new content, new blog posts, new videos, new online training, any kind of resources? It really depends on how much you want to grow, what you want to achieve. There isn't a golden rule that if you post once a week or twice a week or twice a day on this and this platform that you will achieve your goals. That's not how social media works. Social media is very personal. Social media marketing, it needs to be very closely linked to your goals. And based on your goals, you need to define what is realistic, what your resources allow you to do, and how much time and effort you will be putting into your campaigns to achieve the goals that are relevant and meaningful for you, for your organization. So now we know what is most important, but where do you set? Where do you start? And the first thing first, it's you do an audit. You look at where you currently are. What is your starting point? I always like using like the climbing or hiking adventure metaphors. And for me, knowing if I'm going for a hike for my nearby hill for a walk, or if I'm going for a proper hike and trying to climb Mount Everest, I need to know what my base camp is. Where am I right now? What are my skills? What is my strength? What are my current results? What are my current followers, likes, stuff like that? And I need to know the goal, where I'm trying to go, to see the difference. And from there, if I have done the audit, I analyzed where am I right now, how many followers I have, how many posts per week, per month I'm sharing, what are the results, how many likes, comments, web traffic, anything. Are my profiles consistently looking, all the links work? And then how do I want to improve it? What will be the goal? And then it's as simple as to reverse engineer and break it down. So to get from point A to point B, I need to do this and this and this on daily, weekly, monthly basis to get these and these and these results. And you can, in social media and digital, you get all the insights, you get all the data. All the platforms provide you wonderful amounts of insight, so you can then see and measure every step of the way if you're progressing in the right speed towards the right direction, or if there is still something that needs to be adjusted, if there's still something that needs to be updated, and stuff like that. That's where you then go, you monitor, you measure, you analyze, you adjust, you repeat. So if you then think about your customers and you know roughly who they are, you've done a little bit of a customer persona, and you have done your social media audit and you know that your profiles look okay and you know what results you're getting. And now you're thinking, okay, where do I start with actually doing something actively, proactively? And you need to decide which platforms you're going to use. And we're going to go quickly through some of the most popular or most frequently used social media networks and look at their demographics, look at their specifics to make sure that you know where is the best place to be. But for a second, I keep seeing comments. I want to make sure that you all understand what we're talking. So we'll stop sharing just for a second and I will have a look at your comments and answer if there's anything relevant and important. And then I will go back to the presentation. Internal resources, it's all about your resources. It is important to be aware of what you can realistically do. I can't tell you to do 10 posts a day or 10 posts a month. You need to look at who are the people within your organization and what you can realistically achieve. And the key here will be consistency. So it is about thinking what you can do on daily, weekly, monthly basis consistently each week, each month, each year, to make sure that you are not doing 10 posts one day and nothing the next month, and then 15 posts in a week and then nothing. You want to make sure that you analyze and understand your resources and you plan it to make sure that whatever you do it consistently. Tamara, sounds very much like the needs for a website design. It's never about you. Totally. Any kind of marketing, it is slightly different in the digital world than it was in the offline world, but it is still so much about people. It is about you and your customers. It really goes back to understanding your customer and going back to the basics of customer service, where used to be that in your local shop, in your local store, the person behind the counter really knew you and knew who you are and stuff like that. So hopefully everyone can hear. Most of the people can hear, so that's good. Okay, I think that's pretty much all I can see. If there are any questions that I've missed, I know that Karen and Hugh will be on it and they will bring them up to me later on, but I will go back to sharing my screen. And we will continue. So be where your ideal customers are. And we will start with probably the most popular platform currently, which is Instagram. On Instagram, there will be 1 billion users a month, which is an insane number. And there will be 500 million users on stories every day. If you haven't used Instagram for a while, then you might not know that Instagram is not just a square images anymore in the main feed. But Instagram now has a lot more features and kind of separate areas of Instagram. You still have the main feed in Instagram, but you then now also have Instagram stories, which are the tiny little bubbles on the top of your Instagram when you open the app. You also have an IGTV, which is a separate app, which allows you to share longer form videos, where on Instagram Grid, your videos can be maximum 1 minute. When you go to IGTV, you can have videos for up to 10 minutes. And all these interact with each other. So you can share your IGTV video to your Grid, and you can share your IGTV video to your stories, and you can share your Grid photo or video or post to your stories. Obviously now we have Reels, which is a new kind of crossover of Instagram and TikTok. It is short, fast-paced, fun, entertaining video form of up to 30 seconds. But there are different features and specifics to any of these. You still have Instagram live, so you can go live, you can invite people and have it multi-conversational. You have now stories and lots of stickers in them. Instagram is being very proactive in terms of the current situation, adding stories for donation, adding stickers for support, for DM, for group chats. So much to play around. And if you know that your target customers, that the people you're trying to reach will be on Instagram, then this is the best platform to be right now. It's no longer just a platform for kids or for young. It's not just platform for pretty pictures from your travels and food and lifestyle. Now it is a very valuable business to business, person to person, service, product, whatever you are, platform with very high engagement. And some of the stats are very interesting. One of them says that 62% of people become more interested in a brand or product after seeing it in stories. So you can see that there is a high percentage, high chance of people wanting to be involved, help out, donate, support, whatever you need them to do after they've seen you in their stories. It is much less like driven because Instagram has removed the visibility of how many likes a post is getting. And it's a lot more about comments and conversations and all the more meaningful metrics. As I said, there's lots of amazing new features. You can create DM stickers or group chat stickers. You can create individual subgroups of conversations. And if you have a product or something to sell, they are adding so many e-commerce and shopping features where you have clickable pins in stories, in your grid, and allow businesses to really sell within the platform for people not having to go anywhere else. So Instagram is great. You can see that it is still a little younger platform for the younger audience, but it is maturing. There is more people and you can find pretty much everyone on this platform today. But I must say Instagram is one of those platforms that does require probably the most time and effort to put in, because there are so many aspects. You have live, IGTV, reels, stories, guides, this and that. And to get the most out of Instagram, you need to be utilizing probably all of them, ideally, but definitely the most of them. If all you do on Instagram is put posts into your grid, you will not anywhere near reach the potential that Instagram has. The second platform that is very, very, very popular, it's LinkedIn. LinkedIn has almost 700 million users, and from that about 300,000 million are monthly users. So it's, when it comes to Instagram, people will probably go daily. LinkedIn, people will go weekly. It is a little more male to female ratio, and it is a little older, but you can see that still a very big chunk of young people will be on the platform as well. And it's interesting, again, just to see how this platform is being used and what people using this platform say about their experience and how it influences their decisions. And 52% of buyers says that LinkedIn has the most influence on their research process before purchasing. So if there's something that, again, you're selling or you're looking for fundraising, you're looking to actually get some money from people, then LinkedIn is a great place because it's a professional networking platform. And we believe more in the professionalism. So we are more likely to give people what they want from us if we trust them, and it is a fairly trustworthy platform. It's important to remember that Instagram is mobile only. Instagram, there is a desktop version, obviously, but the desktop traffic, it's so little that no one considers Instagram to be anything else than just a mobile app. Where LinkedIn obviously started as a desktop, started as a website, but more and more people will be using it on mobile, and almost 60% of LinkedIn's traffic and visit is from mobile. So it's something to keep in mind and remember when it comes to driving traffic to a website optimizing content, how you use it, make sure that it is in mobile users in mind. LinkedIn has been putting lots of efforts into new features as well. They're finally launching LinkedIn Live, available to everyone. They're launching LinkedIn Stories. You have PDF slide sharing tools. So for example, I can take this presentation, turn it into a PDF, and then upload it to LinkedIn. You can still slide through it like a slide deck, and you can create visuals in this way. You can create visual stories that people can slide through within the platform. You can ask people questions in polls. The main key is to remember that none of the social media channels likes when you're trying to send people away. So even though, yes, you can use social media to drive traffic to your website, the organic way where you are not paying for advertising, you're not paying for the link clicks, we're trying to do it organically, there is a kind of, the algorithm will punish in a way, will give lower reach to any post with link. So you want to make sure that you are providing as much content and value and interest within the platform, and that you're not trying too much to take the audience away from the platform. And that's where they're giving you the tools to do it. LinkedIn, as I said, is a professional networking platform, and they really put lots of emphasis on people using their personal profiles. So 80-90% of your timeline content, the content that will get potentially amazing reach and engagement, will come from individual profiles, from myself, not my company. They are trying to give companies, organizations a little more tools and give pages a little more space. They have new employee engagement tools where you can encourage your people, your employees, people volunteering for your organization to share your company post. But again, it then goes back to using your personal profile. So when it comes to Instagram or pretty much any other platform, it is about having a company account, having organization account, and then have your team members using it and representing the company and posting on behalf of the company. LinkedIn, definitely not. LinkedIn is for every single person within the organization to have their personal profiles and use them. Obviously, you might be volunteering as just part of your career. You might have a full-time job, you might be entrepreneur, you might be like Karen, who is working and doing community outreach for Cambridge Online, but also she has her own videography business. You can be like me, where I have my own business, I have my own community, and I'm volunteering for other organizations. And the beauty of LinkedIn is you can have it all listed in the profile. You can have a bio that is just about you as a person. It's not necessary just to hide parts of your life. You can have all the parts of your life in one profile. I wouldn't recommend anyone to having more than one personal LinkedIn profile. It is against LinkedIn terms and conditions. So you should have only one personal profile and have all your career or your personality, all your aspects in there featured. Is absolutely fine. So LinkedIn, definitely a valuable platform, but it works slightly different. Obviously, Facebook, it is still the biggest social media network out there. It has about 2.5 billion monthly active users, which obviously pretty much anyone and everyone has Facebook. The demographics, I don't think, are so important on Facebook because everyone is there. But I would say what is important to know about Facebook is that the majority of the activity these days is happening in Facebook groups. There are currently about 1.4 billion people who use Facebook groups. So you can see that it's more than half of the monthly active users who are using groups. You can create group for your organization. It gives you a lot more privacy and it gives you a lot more closeness and kind of community feel. But even public Facebook page, it is still a great place for your organization to be visible and active. I hate when people say that Facebook is pay to play and the organic reach is non-existent. That's not true. Yes, there is Facebook algorithm that decides if your organic posts from your page will be visible or not. And yes, this percentage of how many people will see your posts from your page in their timeline could be small, but it is not because of Facebook forcing you to do advertising to pay, even though they will try to get your money as much as they can, would encourage you to boost this post and boost that post. But because more and more people are abandoning their Facebook pages and they're focusing on advertising or groups, there is now an actual gap in the Facebook page organic reach. And if you create quality content that is relevant and interesting to your audience, that people want to engage with, that it's helpful, then you will get reach. I have clients who have 120% reach of their posts, which means that not only it reaches all of their followers, but because they like it, comment and share on it, it reaches their friends and friends of a friends, and that's all for free. So don't be put away from Facebook because someone says that Facebook is only pay to play. It can work organically beautifully, but it is quality. There needs to be quality content consistently presented that encourages engagement. It is interesting that Facebook actually has a higher income earners, even higher than LinkedIn, even though LinkedIn used to be the professional network where the CEOs and millionaires hang out, and it is still the place. But surprisingly, Facebook is becoming the platform for the higher earners as well. So now the interesting question is where the lower income families will go, which channels they will use. And it might be one of the younger, newer, more hip ones where they feel there is less social pressure. For example, TikTok, we'll talk about it later on. It's a very democratic platform, which is not polished, not perfect, not pretentious, where Instagram is often seen as you're just showcasing the better side of the real life, where there's lots of supermodels, lots of influencers just showing their amazing cars and homes and gym and holidays and stuff like that. So it's interesting to have even potential demographic aspects of your customers, your target community in mind. And again, Facebook, it is the leader, it is the owner of Instagram. So even on Facebook, they will have lots of new features. Facebook stories, not as popular as Instagram stories, but definitely very popular. Paid events now allow you not only to host an event and promote event, but now they allow you to use Facebook events for ticketing and take payments. So you don't need a third party like Eventbrite or have a PayPal account somewhere else. You can do it all within Facebook. Facebook finally have announced that hashtags do work and they're important to use. And you can share and organize your content by hashtags. So that's again a good news for organic social media reach on Facebook. But as I said, Facebook groups are the main focus. So if you, whatever the goal is, I would think about a way how you could actually utilize Facebook groups. And if it's better for your organization to have a Facebook group or Facebook page, you can have one or the other or both. Obviously, each will require slightly different approach, slightly different strategy, slightly different content and attention. So don't go crazy on being everywhere, but consider which might be more suitable. Twitter, it's the odd in the mix, I would say. It has decent amount of users, but what is interesting about Twitter, it's more of a news platform. It's more of a place where we go for getting the news, knowing what's happening around the world. We go there to view photos, watch videos, share content, and network. It is not growing fast, so the user base is pretty stagnating in the past couple of years. But Twitter is trying really hard to bring new features to increase engagement. And for example, video is still very underutilized on Twitter. Not so many people doing video on Twitter. mainly because you have a fairly restricted, not only character limit, but minute limit on your video. You can have only 2 minutes, 20 seconds. So not everyone is able to fit within that, especially if Facebook gives you pretty much unlimited video. Instagram gives you minute in the grid, but up to 10 minutes in IGTV. LinkedIn gives you 10 minutes for video. So Twitter, it is shorter form, that where it really works for the fast-paced news updates. I would say Twitter is great for getting your news out there, potentially connecting with journalists, media outlets, if there is a story that you have and that you would like to get covered, or if there are any requests from media, follow hashtags journal request. That really helps to find out what journalists are writing about, what they're looking for, if there is a story or element that you can get involved, help them out and get your organization featured. You can also use it during live events. So for example, even online events like this, you could be taking screenshots and selfies and taking notes and tweeting them out there using the hashtag camps. DigiWeek or tagging me or stuff like that. And this way, because then Cambridge Online, Cambridge CVS, myself, we will engage with it, our audiences will engage with it. So this way you can kind of leverage other people's events, other people's reach and influence to get the awareness, get the message out there. Twitter is also one of those platforms where you don't need to focus and you don't need to build your own following for your tweets to reach anyone and everyone. Twitter is very clever with the use of hashtags, and I would recommend using 2-3 hashtags in each tweet. Relevant, longer form hashtags. Think about what the result you will get if you click the hashtag. Go on Twitter, check out the result of particular hashtag if you want to be associated with them. But I would say Twitter is great if you have no audience whatsoever, you're just starting out, but you really have something of a value that you can share. Then Twitter is a great platform because of its hashtags and how they work and trending topics and opportunities to mention and tag and retweet and share. You can reach anyone and everyone, and you can connect and you can have pretty much very close one-to-one relationship, build the relationship with anyone. There is no gatekeeper, and it's the beauty of Twitter. Pinterest, one of the platforms that still is very, very unused. I see only a handful of organizations actually using Pinterest. And it's interesting because Pinterest is the platform, probably the only one, that is designed to drive traffic. Pinterest is designed to take people away from Pinterest to your website. There are some 320 million monthly active users. It is a very female platform. The age groups are fairly consistent, but there are specific events or purposes why people will use Pinterest. 85% of women use it to plan their life moments, wedding, holidays. Lots of people use it to plan getting their ideal home, how it's going to look like, how they will. It's like a mood boarding, planning, visualization platform. And beautiful, 58% of people use this platform to inform their shopping and purchasing decisions. So if you have a product, if you have even a service that you can package into a digital product, or you can explain how it works, you can use Pinterest to inform and drive traffic to your website. They are working and introducing more in-app shopping features and advertising, and there is 9 out of 10 people describe Pinterest as filled with positivity. So it's great for organizations like yours, where you are all about helping people, bringing positivity, bringing value to the world. And you can use it as a platform where you can design and share quotes, inspirational messages, positive messages, encouraging messages, and then this way get your brand out there and get more traffic to your website. So I would consider Pinterest potentially, if this is one of your strong values and goals, will be driving traffic and it will be building brand awareness, and it is all about positivity, I'm sure that you can find a way of using Pinterest for your organization. And the last platform I want to touch on is TikTok. It's a new kid on the block. It's a fairly, very young platform, but due to the coronavirus crisis, it actually got a pretty mature audience because people were so bored during lockdown that they started creating very hilarious videos. TikTok has 30 to 60-second videos. They're very fast-paced, very creative editing. It is, from my experience, the platform with the most creative content that goes above and beyond to anything that I've seen on any of the other channels. The content stays there, it doesn't disappear anywhere. It's very easy, kind of, to get viral, to really reach hundreds of thousands of people on the app. There are a couple of tricks with their trends and hashtags and music and stuff like that. It is not just lip syncing or dancing, even though there is lots of it. I've seen therapists, coaches, education people, lawyers, professionals like police and fire brigade and stuff like that. There's such a variety of content from services and product makers who showcase their business, their brand. And the beauty of TikTok is it's very raw. It's not polished, where Instagram, you're trying to make it look pretty and show your better side of the face. On Pinterest, it is again just a beautiful designed visuals. TikTok, it is raw. It is, you can see mess behind people, you can see imperfections here and there, but that's exactly what TikTok is loved for. It is loved for its authenticity, rawness, realness. And it has lots of eyeballs right now. People are spending 52 minutes per day on the app on average, which is an hour a day people are spending on the app. So if you are targeting younger audience and you can think of ways to, I would say, have a look, have play. I've been just watching TikTok. I haven't been doing TikTok, like creating content myself, but from what I've seen, there's so many ways of creating video content that really can get you a lot of audience. And lots of new audiences, lots of new awareness, lots of reach, and potentially lots of press coverage. So now we kind of talked about what are the biggest mainstream social media options, but where do you go? I'm sure that you're thinking, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this, we could be there. Yes, at the end of the day, you could make any platform work for you. But the challenge is deciding which one you will use, which one is the best, the most suitable for your audience, also for your personal preferences. Some people will more likely be taking beautiful photos and be on Instagram. Some people are more likely to be professional and write thought leadership posts on LinkedIn. Some people are more political, want to be on Twitter. Every organization and every person has a different preference, and that can also play a role in choosing. What I would like to encourage you is to pick one main platform and have one supporting platform, because the best results you can get on social media is if you follow the 90-10 rule, which kind of says that you should put 90% of your efforts into doing one thing remarkably well, meaning really mastering one platform. Because as I said, there's so many new features on every single platform. And even for me, where social media is my business, my life, my career, it is impossible to stay on top and leverage and learn how to use properly all those features. So that's where focus on one platform and put 90% of your efforts into this one platform to get to know it, understand it. And then the rest, experiment, have fun, see. You can have a profile on 2-3 channels. You can post proactive kind of outbound posts there, and you can focus on engagement on other posts. Aware of the time, but I have one more topic. that I want to go through with you, and hopefully we'll get a couple minutes for questions. I promise I will finish on time with my talk, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to stay a little longer for your questions to be answered, but I really want to get this last part of the way. We talk about platforms and content and this and that, but the most important thing about social media is engagement. No one is joining social media. No one has signed up to Facebook or Instagram to be sold to. No one is joining these platforms to see advertising. We are coming to social media to connect, to learn, to be entertained, to engage with others, be it people or brands, influencers, experts, whatever it is that we want. So it is important to remember that at the end of the day, if you don't have that much time, you can't put a proper plan in place just now, you really don't know how to start with content planning and creation and all of that. If there's one thing that I would encourage you to do, that is engagement. Even if you don't put as much original content, take the time to engage, to comment, to like, to share, to be part of other people's conversations. That will actually have much bigger impact than just having a content plan, which you're pushing and broadcasting your content to the millions of potential users, but you don't have any personal, close, one-to-one relationships with anyone. And how do you start with engagement? How do you start finding who your people are, who your communities are? It's by listening. And be it in person, when you go networking, when you go to events, and be it online, listening is the key to connecting with people. Listen before you start talking. That's why if I had more time, I would love to spend time to getting to know you. And on our in-person workshops, I would make sure that I talk to every single one of you and I know who you are, what you want, because it is important for me and for my social media and for any of my training to know who you are and what you want. So do that with your social media as well. In my Facebook group, I will always ask people what training they want, what topics, what format, what challenges they're facing, and I will always make sure that the content we create is around what they want. Again, it's not about you, it is about them. Be interesting, to be interesting, be interested, which comes again. If you are asking people questions and you're curious about them, they're more likely to remember you. If you see people asking questions, putting some questions out there, just go and answer, even if it's on your competitor's page, even if it's somewhere in the middle of the Twitter feed, you found a question, you know the answer, it is helpful, it is relevant, answer it. And this all will help you to understand your audience. If you're asking questions, you're genuinely interested, it will help you really get the social media feels of more social, less media broadcasting. And as I said, if you don't have all the resources that you would like currently, and you're not sure where to focus, I would say schedule less, plan less, and engage more. Think about creating and nourishing conversations, inspire meaningful interactions. Again, if someone comments, comment back, keep the conversation going, bring more people in. Try to build the repeat views and repeat visits, build your relationships and loyal fans, because even on any channel, if you don't have huge followings, that's not important. If you have a couple of loyal advocates, fans, customers, volunteers, whoever it is, they can help you magnify, they can help you reach all the audience, all the people that you need without you actually having your own platform just yet. A couple of tips on creating engaging content. Show your face, especially now when we can't see real people as much in real life. We really crave to see people's faces. So show your face, show your team, show the raw things behind the scenes, making of, Inspire your customers and users to create user-generated content and repurpose and reshare that. Focus on the funny and emotive content, and again, get a better understanding of your audience, their needs and pains. You can really reach more people if you keep an eye on trending topics. If there is something that you are opinionated about, no matter how controversial it is, don't be afraid to be loud about it. And make sure that, again, you understand the platforms and you use their interactive features like polls and stickers. And last thing, just focus on building unique relationships with people that will impact your business in a positive way. I stole this quote from one of my favorite Instagram trainers, Social Pip, who, if Instagram is the one thing you want to learn, I would highly recommend you going to her and learn from her, because she beautifully summarized that social media, it is about, even though social media allows you to reach masses, it is more about building one-to-one relationships, because social media, compared to TV, news, actually allows you to build the feedback loop between me and you. So I would say just a couple of last kind of reminders. Build a community, turn your advocates and turn your customers into advocates and loyal fans, and make customers your heroes. If you don't want to share your face, and you can share face of your customers, if you can interview them on video, if you can take photos or selfies with them, beautiful content for social media. And just my quick badass cheat sheet for what to do on social media: tell a story. I know that Cambridge Online and Cambridge CVS have done some storytelling workshops and training. Check it out, learn how to tell the information that you have and turn them into story. Don't be afraid to show your personality, staying on brand, understanding your why. We're coming full circle back to our 5-step with step number 1, why. Understanding your values and mission and vision, purpose and personality. Once you know it, show it. Show, don't tell. So again, use the examples of your customers, use testimonials, use how-to guides, show people what you do rather than telling them this is what I do, and be authentic. So this is it. I will go to your questions straight away. I saw there's lots of comments, so I'm super excited about that. All I wanted to say is thank you so much for taking the time today to be here with us. I have a couple of special announcements or offers. If you want to learn more about social media, I would highly encourage you to check out Cambridge Social Media, which is my community, it's my group, and it's a place where we provide further social media training and advice for freelancers, small business owners, charities, organizations, anyone and everyone who has a small, limited resources but wants to make a big impact. So you can find us on cambridgesocial.media or search Cambridge Social Media pretty much anywhere and you will find us. We have done over 35 training videos on specific areas of social media marketing this year, and you will find it all on our website. And just the last note, we are running our annual social media conference this year online on the 17th and 18th of November. You can find the information again on our website. And because you are community members of Cambridge Online, Cambridge CVS, you will get 10% off your ticket if you use the Come Online code that is below. I will share the slides with you. I will share it with the organizers, with Christine and everyone else who's been in touch with you, and they will share all of it. So feel free to screenshot it or it will be sent to you. That's it. I will stop sharing screen and I will go back to all your comments. But what I will do, I will unmute you or allow you to unmute you because I want more interactions. I want actually talking to people. So feel free to shout at me or talk to me or do whatever. I'm glad that I managed to do it in time, that we now have a couple minutes in time to look at all your questions. I will try to go back through the chat and find any questions that you might have, or if you have a question, just shout it at me.
Hi, Lenka. Audrey wanted to know what scheduling program you'd recommend for Instagram.
I would personally recommend Content Cow. It's my favorite because it allows you to do more than just scheduling and publishing. It allows you to plan, collaborate. It allows you to have all your resources in one place. It has beautiful analytics. I do have a discount code, so if anyone wants to use the pro version, give me a shout. I can give you discount code, but their free version is good enough for most users. So yeah, I would say Content Cal is my favorite. It's also the most user-friendly one from my experience. It looks literally like a calendar, so you can have a beautiful overview. It's visually clean and it helps you to imagine what you're planning and sharing. And it's also a small London startup where I like supporting local businesses rather than big American corporations.
I believe Thomas had a question about what exactly quality content looks like, what that means.
Yeah, it's hard to define, but I would say before you publish anything, there is a simple question you can ask yourself, and that's, so what? So why would my audience care? Quality content means that you don't put content out there just because you need to fill a gap in a calendar. Quality means that you actually have thought about this piece of content, you know what purpose it serves, you know what metric you will measure. If you're trying to get likes, if you try to get video views, what message you want to get across. So it is a content that you actually thought about, and you see how this piece of puzzle fits into your content strategy and how it will deliver, help you deliver and achieve the goals that you want. It is in contrast to quantity, where lots of people will put social media content out there just to put something, just not to be quiet and not to do anything. So I would say quality is something that you really have thought about and you put effort into considering what value it will provide and what results you would like to get out of it. Any further questions?
I have also questions. Sorry, I don't have a camera on my PC. Yeah, so my first question would be, so our organization is it's not new on social media, but there's very little management, I would say, and we are volunteer-led organization, so we also have limited resources as well. And we have volunteers, of course, like from London, Manchester to Edinburgh, and so it's very scattered. And we would like to, post our message and also on Facebook, but we don't know how to collect those data or activity across the UK. And will you probably have a suggestion how to, manage this this type of challenge, like like more I don't know how to say, like is it better to have a team and then collect things like regularly, or how would be better to do?
I would say if it's a team like this where you have people from all around the place and everyone isn't trained properly how to use social media, I would prefer to have 1 or 2 people in charge of social media who really understand the strategy, the tone of voice, and knows how to appropriate plan the content rather than having everyone doing everything. I would say from my experience, WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger groups where it's very informal, and whichever team kind of communication, if it's Slack, WhatsApp group, or anything you're using. And that helps me often when I'm working with clients remotely and with their remote teams to encourage them and nudge them and give them prompts to send me some content, which then I collect, I customize, I schedule, I plan. So I would recommend using whichever communication tool works for you. For me, Slack, WhatsApp group, or Facebook Messenger groups usually work the best. Email could work, but that sounds a little bit too much, too office worky kind of thing. If you have some private DM chats, and then just encourage people, send me this, take a selfie, take a photo, give me a snippet of what you've done, what's happening, give them some ideas of content that you would like from them, take it centrally, share it.
Right, thank you. That's very good. And just another question is that we also had this discussion and opinions varies that will we need a central like group page and then separate like because on Facebook you could have a subgroup kind of this page under a main page. So what would this make difference? I mean, either you post everything on your main page, or you have more like diverse group page, and then you post local events on your own group page.
Yeah, I think there isn't a right answer. It is very individual for every organization. It does come to your resources a lot, because the more pages and subgroups you have, the more work it takes for each of the locations to be maintained. If you have very localized and very specific local community efforts, and it makes sense because the communities don't mix and match, what's relevant in Manchester is really not relevant in Cambridge and in Scotland and wherever, then it might be worth having separate groups. But for small organizations, I still think that having one central organization page or group, it's the more practical way to do things.
Great, thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions? I'm trying to go through all the comments, but there's been a lot, which is fantastic. I will save the chat, and I will make sure that if anyone had any specific question, I will find a way to get back to you. Do you recommend Hootsuite? As it's kind of follow up on the question about social media scheduling. Personally, I'm not a fan of Hootsuite. Their user interface, the way they have it in columns, just doesn't work for me. I would go rather to Buffer than to Hootsuite, but it is very personal. It just needs to work for you, for your organization, for how you prefer to work. And obviously it depends on which channels you're using. If you're using only Instagram, and Instagram is your one platform that you really want to invest in, you might even think outside of the box and go for something that is Instagram specific. There's Instagram specific scheduling tools like Later and Planoly that have so many more features designed for Instagram. But it is very personal choice. I personally prefer Content Cow. I used to use Buffer a lot. Some clients had Hootsuite or Sprout Social or Agora Pulse, but they're, from my experience, for bigger organizations with bigger budgets and much more intense marketing campaigns. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for staying here with me until the end.